How you doing, guys? Big Mek Danskull here again today, back once again with another episode of Warhammer 40k. In today's video, I'll be asking the question: are GW getting the rules right for the Primaris Space Marines? So guys, yes, welcome to another episode of Warhammer 40k. I'm just getting me a pop-up window for my chat up. I always do this when I do a live stream. It takes me a long while to get it all ready. Let's see if I'm broadcasting. I am. It's amazing. Right, let's see. Can I share this, I wonder? Copy. Gamza. No, Facebook. Facey book. Apologies, guys. I should have done this earlier. Right, so yeah, the question I'll be asking is: are GW getting the rules right for the Primaris Space Marines? What I'll be discussing is the various types of armour and how they all have the same armour save. But also I'll be discussing the lore of the 40k universe and the sort of the lore behind the Primaris Space Marines. What, you know, a couple of the extra things that are done to them to make them better. But also, I'm just trying to do a Facebook post here. But also, I'll be discussing how they actually are in the game, the rules for the Marines in the game. I'll be comparing the lore to the rules, basically. Okay, that's me done on the sharing front, I think. Once that's posted, let's see. Click on that, see if it takes me to the... Apologies, guys. I'm sure there's not many people in the chat yet. I will check at that in a second. Is that just taking me to the... I don't know. There we go. Anyway, right. So I'll get the chat window up again. See if anyone's joined us. Hello, Tabletop Banter. I'm guessing that's Callum. How you doing, mate? I say that every time. I'm guessing that's Callum. How you doing, mate? I always assume one day it's going to be Harry and he's going to surprise me. So yes, the lore of the lore versus Primaris Space Marines in Warhammer 40k, Warhammer 40k rather. That's what I'm going to be discussing today. Where is my XSplit window? There it is. Right, now I can see my face and I can see the chat as well. Should I do the XSplit window? Or should I do the no, because if I do the broadcast window, that'll put me off because it's it sure is, yeah. So it's Callum in the chat, and he is well. Very good, Callum. I'm just I'm good. I've had a longer day at work than I intended to have today, but I'm now home, and hopefully I'm going to get some of these guys painted. My Primaris Space Marines for the WGO Chronicles. I've got them all to various different stages. You may have seen in a video I uploaded yesterday. So these guys are the ones nearest completion. You can see they've got the metals on them. They've got blacks on them. They've got browns on them. They've got the green eye lenses painted. I just need to do washes and damage. Battle damage really, and they've got the purity seals done and everything, and then these guys have got blacks and browns on them. They need the metallics still. I'm about to start doing the metallics, and I just I don't like doing metallics particularly, but I don't have the patience for non-metallic metal or anything. So I did started on some of the metallics last night, like on the captain's backpack, his ammo hopper or ammo feed, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on, as I am getting some chat done for Warhammer 40k. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be doing that. Right, so Primaris Space Marines. Are GW getting the rules wrong for them? Now, what I mean by this is Primaris Space Marines are supposed to be better than Space Marines. They have an extra attack in the rules, and they have an extra wound. As far as I can tell, that's the only difference. I'm not sure about abilities. I'm just going off what I quickly checked out earlier today. So yeah, they have an extra attack and they have an extra wound, which is great. But I was reading through this month's White Dwarf the other day, and I came across a bit of fluff in the Index of Astartes in this month's White Dwarf. It's on page 43 if you want to check it out for yourself. And it's in the Primaris Organs section. And it's basically a bit that says about sinew coils. And I'm going to read it word for word now for you. So that you know what I'm talking about rather than me just rambling and you not being sure. So the sinew coils, the Space Marines sinews are reinforced with durametallic coil cables that can contract with incredible force, amplifying his strength as well as giving his body another layer of interior defense. So that's the fluff behind the sinew coils, and what that means to me is this is a Primaris organ, a Primaris implant. The normal Space Marines don't have it. So what that means to me is they basically they should be stronger than a Space Marine. They should be tougher than a Space Marine. Now, you could argue that the extra wound is effectively the added toughness. You could argue that, but I would suggest that you're wrong, because toughness affects what can wound you. It's not. And Craig has just joined us in the chat. How you doing, mate? Good to have you here. So yeah, toughness affects what can wound you. So if you've got higher toughness, say if the Primaris Space Marines were toughness 5 instead of toughness 4, then it'd take toughness 11 weapon to wound them on 2s. Anything from strength 6 to strength 10 would only wound them on 3s, and anything strength 5 or below would wound them on 5 would wound them on 4s, and below 5 would wound them on 5s. So basically the added toughness, the added wound doesn't really, for me, equate to the sinew coils, making them tougher. Yeah, like the sinew coils make them more durable, you could argue. So that's why you get the added wound. Not bad, thanks. Great stuff. How's a new arrival doing? Yeah, the sinew coils, basically they make the Marine more durable, so it makes sense to give them an added wound. But would the added toughness have been too much for the rules? Would it have made them too tough? Would it have made them too expensive? Now, what you've got to ask yourself here is, what are the Primaris Space Marines in the long term for GW? And for me, what the Primaris Space Marines are in the long term is a replacement for Space Marines. So eventually, I don't know when, but eventually, in the next 5, maybe 10 years, something like that, over the course of time. Good stuff. Over the course of time, the Primaris Space Marines will replace the Space Marines, in my opinion. Wounds are a much bigger bonus than 1 toughness in 8th. Right, so Craig's got a slightly different opinion from me. I do think the Primaris Marines should have the extra wound, but I think they should have 1 extra toughness as well. So GW strategy, in my opinion, is to replace the Space Marines with the Primaris Space Marines over time. So in the next 5 or 10 years, we'll probably see, maybe not, I might be wrong here, but I think we'll probably see the Space Marine kits being phased out, and Primaris Space Marines coming to the fore with new models for characters and stuff like that. It says in the fluff that Space Marines can have the extra Primaris organs implanted in them in order to make them Primaris Marines. They can go through those extra implant stages to make them that. So we can have, I'm painting Imperial Fist, so let's talk about Lysander. We can have Lysander as a Primaris Marine in the future. We can have Marnius Calgar as a Primaris Marine in the future. So all the characters and the rich lore that GW have built up over the years, that can pretty much be intact. It can remain intact, because you can keep those characters alive, just make them a bit better, make them Primaris Space Marines rather than regular Space Marines, which is looking for my water ray. I couldn't find it. So yeah, make them Primaris Space Marines rather than regular Space Marines. Now, I wanted to talk also about the different types of armour available to Primaris Marines. So we've got this. This is Reaver armour. It's Mark 10 Reaver armour. I think all the armours are Mark 10. So this is what the intercessors wear. It's more, it's a lot more similar to the standard Space Marine armour you see, but it's Mark 10. It's chunky around the legs, whereas the Reaver armour, it looks a bit more lightweight. The shoulder pads aren't as big, and the midriff, if you can see here, it's not focusing. But basically, the midriff, you can see all the like the coils and cable and the sort of undersuit of the armor, rather than an armored panel that you get on these guys, on the intercessors. So should the Reavers have a lower armor save? And in my opinion, the Reavers should have a lower armor save. They should have armor 4. And then you get the aggressors, which are the guys with the it's a chunkier type of armor. I've got the Primaris Captain here in Grawlys armor, but the aggressors also wear Grawlys armor. Now this is much chunkier armor. It's akin to Terminator armor, in my opinion. The look of it, the aesthetic of it, is akin to Terminator armor. So should they have a 2-up save? And in my opinion, they definitely should. Because it looks like chunkier armour. But because what GW is saying is it's all based off the same armour type, then they're not giving them the 2-up save. They're sticking with a 3-up save. But if you put a plate of metal in front of me and then you tried to shoot me through it, now you can get... I don't know much about guns, but let's talk in my what little I know about ballistic weapons. If you put a plate of like a centimetre thick metal in front of me and shot at it, then the plate might stop a certain caliber bullet, but you get a bigger caliber bullet and then it'll go through that plate. You get a bigger caliber bullet, it'll go through 2 plates, bigger caliber bullet, it'll go through 3 plates. So that effectively for me is what should be applied here. It's thicker, so it should stop more stuff than what the regular Mark 10 armor would stop. Yeah, that's a few of my thoughts on the Primaris Marines. What else is there? These guys have a chunkier armor as well, and especially when these guys are the Inceptors, and these guys are, they drop out of space and they land and make a crater, and it's amazing. But they're basically like the mobile weapons platforms almost, with these 2 heavy weapons kind of thing, short range heavy weapons. So the mobile fire support, and they have like these metal visors that can close and just leave like an eye gap there, and that's for when they're coming through the atmosphere, when they're descending through the atmosphere to protect them from the excess heat and stuff like that. But if they keep them closed, then maybe that should give them a better armor save as well. Their armor looks chunkier anyway to me than, it might just be the big backpack they've got, but that looks chunkier to me than what the Intercessors and Hellblasters are wearing, so maybe they should have a better armor save as well. But yeah, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you think the Primaris Marines should have different armor saves? So let's talk mainly about the Grawlys compared to the standard Mark 10 compared to the Reavers. So because, like I said, because for me the Reavers they've got much less armor on them, so they should have a smaller armor, a higher armor save. Yeah, higher. 4 up. For me, they should have 4 up, the Reavers. The Intercessors should stick with 3 up, and the Grawlys should have 2 up. But obviously the game's changing. The game and the rules are changing. And maybe GW are trying to make sure that certain things, like the Grawlys armour, isn't too hard to kill, because what they seem to have done instead is add more wounds onto characters now to make them harder to kill. So from what Callum's read and played with, the 8th edition rules seem a little more distant from the lore than he would like. It's rather put him off investing in anything more than he already has. Yeah, it seems to be going that way now. Over the years, GW have the lore has never quite been in line with what you can do on the tabletop. In some books, you'll read that 10 Marines can take over a planet. Now, it might be a small planet with, say, hundreds of thousands of people on instead of millions of people, but still, like, 10 Marines are never going to beat 100,000 cultists, are they? Not in the game, because just sheer weight of fire and everything, it's not going to be like that. Now, I know in a White Dwarf a few years back, I think it was an American White Dwarf, might not have been though, it may have been a German one. They did the Mover Marines, where these Marines were, they basically did stats, so you could make your Marines like superheroes basically. So they were almost like all character Marines, and they were really tough to kill. They had like 2 up saves instead of 3 ups. But you just use standard Marines to represent them. But if you ever wanted like a more thematic battle, like these Space Marines against hordes and hordes of guardsmen or chaos, whatever, then you could have this battle. But they were never like legal for tournaments or anything, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, they do these things over the years, you know, just so you can have a bit of fun with your models. It's all pretty interesting. Now, when you think about it, 10 Marines could take over a world if they were employing tactics like the Alpha Legion, or Raven Guard. You know, guerrilla warfare tactics and subterfuge, stuff like that. Causing dissent amongst the populace and infighting and sowing the seeds of anarchy and heresy. I'm not saying the Raven Guard are heretics there, by the way. I'm saying like the Alpha Legion. That's what they tend to do. Yeah, let's see what Cam's saying in the chat again. So Terminators have 2 wounds. Was a step in the right direction, but I feel some of the new stuff in the Space Marine Codex, again, and from what I've seen, seems very lackluster. Yeah, I've not seen the Space Marine Codex myself, although I've got these Imperial Fists here in front of me. I'm not bothered about getting the Space Marine Codex, not yet. I'm happy playing the Marines using my index. Because I bought all the indexes, and then obviously GW were going to bring out codices. I said codices. Someone criticised me in my last video, my last Thoughty video last week, for saying codices rather than codex, because GW have come out and said it's codex, but the English language suggests it's codices. I mean, you could say either. I'm happy for people to say either, but I'll continue to say codices, really. And now being into 30k, I feel a good backstory driving the rules is far more immersive for me. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I consider myself a narrative gamer. I don't create a narrative for my games when I play, but I like the idea of having a fun game. You know, if you want to change something on a character, take a weapon a character normally can't take, something like that, just to make it a bit more exciting, then for me that's more fun. I get more invested that way, I think, in what's happening on the tabletop than if you're to just say, you shoot all my guys, I'll shoot all your guys. You know, it's like objectives. Objectives add a bit of narrative to a game, compared to just kill points or something like that. I was surprised at how vanilla the chapter specific stuff was. Yeah, like the Imperial Fist ones were really disappointing for me. I've got to remember to stop knocking the table because it shakes the camera. The Imperial Fist ones were disappointing for me with the -1 to the cover save, or the ignore the cover save or something. Because cover save in this edition, it's not that good so far. There's certain things that can get a better cover save, like I think the Orc Commandos, they get a 2 up to their save when they're in cover, and Snickrock gets a 3 up to his save when he's in cover. But for me, that one was really disappointing. That's one of the reasons I'm really not bothered about getting the Codex so far. I doubt I'm going to enter any tournaments with these guys, so like I said, I'm more than happy to play with the Index. I think they're trying to balance the game. I think they are trying to balance the game. That's what you've got to think about. They can't stick to the fluff with 10 Space Marines being able to overtake a planet with a balanced game, because weight of fire is always going to take out 10 Marines. It doesn't matter how tough you make them. Although Death Stars would suggest otherwise. If you give them like a 2-up rerollable save, obviously, then people are going to find that tough to kill, but that's too far the other way. It's too unbalanced the other way. Let's have a look. I think the fact that indexes only had a 2-month shelf life kind of annoyed him. Craig's telling him he's salty. I had such high hopes for 8th and loved the start, but for me it's just fallen off a cliff with subpar releases and the new codices. That's what you get for being hard for power armor. Okay. It's it was like it's a big rush, like I said in last week's Thoughty video. It was a big rush for GW now to get 10 books out before Christmas, and for me that's too quick. I'd rather they chill out a bit, but I understand, because competitive tournament players want their armies to get new books and stuff like that. Then they're pumping out these books before Christmas, but then that's leading to a couple of mistakes here and there. I'd suggest that maybe they would have caught if they'd just released even a book a month. A book a month would have probably been a little bit easier for them, rather than in the past month we had 3 books, was it? The Grey Knights, Chaos, and Space Marines, and then we've got the Death Guard coming next, I think, and then it'll be a couple more probably in the same month as the Death Guard. I'm pretty sure those books have been done before the edition was released. Yeah, I think the books we've seen so far, the Codex books we've seen so far, I think they have been done before the edition was released. It's a little you can't expect too much when a whole new edition comes along. When people think of GW, people like myself, when we think of GW, we think they're this massive company with unlimited resources. Now compare them to other companies in this niche industry, and they are. But you compare them to other companies, other global companies that compete on a global platform, and they are they're tiny. They don't have the resources that, say, even Tesco, a UK supermarket, has, or Nike, or Sports Direct, even another UK retailer there. They don't have those kind of resources. They're in too much of a niche industry to have massive resources. Callum, I'd say mostly done, as there have been power level and punch changes. But maybe 90% finished. I'd agree with that. I'm just going to nip to the loo, so I'm going to put a lovely other screen on for you. So Craig's saying in the chat, the rulebook was finalised by the beginning of this year. I don't know the specifics of it, but I'm led to believe that something like that is definitely the case. So I'm going to look around this guy, see if he needs any more metallics. What have I done with the... Interesting. Oh, very interesting. I missed some black on these guys. Need to put some more on them. I'm aware of missed metallics on this guy. On the helmet. Let's have a look on the GW site and see if I can find a picture of these Reavers. Get a 360 view. Yeah, let's go in there and there. Cool. Just wanted to check where the black was on these Reavers. Cam just saying he loves these streams for painting. I love them for painting as well. When other people are doing them, when I'm doing them, I find I don't get much painted. Takes me a lot longer to get anything painted, at least anyway. I did what did I watch the other night? I started watching Critical Role. I've watched them in the past when they've had certain celebrities on them and stuff like that. When they did, I think they did a cross-platform one, because it's Geek and Sundry that do them, isn't it? But I think they did a cross-channel one with the Nerdist, and I watched a couple then. They were like shorter shows. They were heavily edited down to about an hour. But I watched like a 4-hour episode of Critical Role the other day. If you're not sure what it is, it's D&D basically. It's good to have on in the background for me anyway. When I'm painting, I really I enjoy it because it's kind of engaging and entertaining, and it's not short, so you're not skipping to another video. And you can just like keep painting away, keep plugging away at your painting whilst it's on, without getting too distracted by it. You know, you can listen to it, because the great thing about D&D is it's all in here, isn't it? For the most part, anyway. Obviously, people use boards now and again. People use boards and miniatures now and again to represent certain situations. But for the most part, it's all in your head. Caleb's asking, was that the show that did Vin D and Diesel? I'm not sure. I know Vin Diesel's into D&D, but I'm not sure if that was a show. Craig used to binge watch IDICBeer roleplay series. My videos are too short, I think. Your videos are too short for me, Craig. I watch them all. But I'm always, when I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm often doing other things, so I'm only half watching the video, really. I don't like things like showcase videos when it's just a spinny miniature. People do them, and you know that's great. They're getting content out there for their channel. But I'd rather you be talking about the miniature as well. If it's just a miniature spinning around on a what are they called? Turntable. On a turntable, then I'm not too into them. But short videos, I'm not a huge fan of them. But I watch the ones that I like. Like, even though your videos are short, Craig, I get a lot out of them, because I can see, you know, whatever you're talking about, you've put a lot of work into, and you often have innovated to achieve what you've done in those videos, like with your plastic card builds and stuff like that. Your kit bashing and making, what's the trebuchet thing from the Skaven and the Screaming Bell and stuff like that. you've done a few things with them that I really, you know, I enjoyed seeing your conversions you do and the smegways and stuff like that. So when I'm enjoying the shorter videos, it's great. But sometimes, like, I'll often watch YouTube in the morning when I'm getting ready for work. So I'll just have it on, and then I'll be making my breakfast, I'll be making my lunch and stuff like that. So I'm only glancing at the screen every now and again. And if I keep going back to it to select a new video, it's harder for me to do what I'm doing as well. So I do prefer longer videos myself. I still like short ones, but I do prefer the long ones myself. I mean, some people have the patience to add to play next, or they have an autoplay function. But on my iPad, I don't have an autoplay function for some reason. I can add to watch later and then do it that way, but that just takes up a big chunk of time to add everything to watch later. I've watched 3 seasons of Family Guy this week, and it's gotten me 1,250 points of Iron Hands entirely built and painted in 12 days. That's brilliant. So that's 100 points per day plus a bonus 50. That is fantastic. Right, this guy's got metallics all over him. I'll show you him in a second, actually. I am just going to go to this guy. Oh no. Just missed his eye. I was the Thoughty section of this video is now done. So if you just came for Thoughty, anybody watching this afterwards, there's only Craig and Callum in the stream. So yeah, the Thoughty section of this video is now done. I won't be discussing that anymore, but if you came for the Thoughty section, we'll leave it there. And I will keep the stream going because I know Callum needs this stream desperately in his life. So I'll keep it going just for him for maybe an hour or something. How long have we been streaming for now? I've probably been going for about half an hour already. I've no idea how long I've been streaming for because I've not got that page open. It should say on. I'm sure it used to say on XSplit. Doesn't at the minute, as far as I can see. I've been going for 33 minutes. Fantastic. Right, let's go back to XSplit. There we go. No, I don't want that. Oh, I've done it again. Sorry guys, I am being an absolute spud muncher. A spanner. Here we go. There we go. 1,250 points of Iron Hands is amazing. I like your colour scheme for them as well. It's the oil slick one that I think Tabletop Warzone did, isn't it? Really nice colour scheme for them. Oh, you know what? I should have done a second layer of brown on these. It looks alright on camera. Doesn't look as good in real life. What am I doing here now? I just get paint on my brush and then I don't know what I'm going to put it on. Right, I'll put it on his grenades. Yeah, I've seen. It's great that you're really jumping into the heresy now. I was feeling malnourished. Yeah, it's great that you're jumping headfirst into heresy. Headfirst into heresy. That's another hashtag for you. Now, so you're hard for heresy and you're jumping headfirst into heresy. Getting a second force and stuff. I love the idea of having like a big 1,000 Sun force. I've not got around to starting it yet. I've painted one Marine, but I love the idea of having, you know, a couple of 100,000 Suns just on display. In much the same way as Mike from cruorangelussilicis has got his Blood Angels and he didn't play with them for years. I'm pretty much like that with the 1,000 Suns. I think at some point I'll play with them, but for the time being, you know, they're going to mainly sit in the shelf. I might use them with 8th edition rules because they're simpler, so I won't have to learn. I never really played 7th edition. I did about 4 times, constantly flicking through the rule book, back and forth. Our Tabletop Warzone's joined us in the chat. How you doing, mate? Head first heresy. 1,000 Suns for the win. Yes, indeed. You're not feeling 40k, but how are you with Age of Sigmar, Callum? Painting those elves drove me insane, but I'm still up for playing the game. Fantastic. Yeah, Age of Sigmar for me, I'm going to steal that question for myself. I've been thinking about doing a Q&A series called the Looted Q&A, where I just take the questions somebody else gets asked and then I answer them myself. Because, you know, Big Mek Danskull is a Death Skull orc and they like looting things. So let me know what you think of that. Basically just stealing everyone else's questions, or maybe cherry picking questions from different people's videos. Yeah, myself, on the AOS front, I have completely dropped, let's say, AOS for the time being. Sigmar Saturday will continue at some point in the future, but with these, trying to get these painted for the WGO Chronicles, Callum's just saying, good idea, Dan, and so's Craig, that's fantastic. In Tabletop Warzone, the resin crack has me hooked again. Yes, so what was I saying then? Oh yeah, the WGO Chronicles has got me just painting these guys. Oh, these are the easy to build, if you're wondering why there's flashes of blue on it. These are the easy to build Primaris Reavers. And I was painting them and I completely forgot I've not glued this guy together. So they will just slot back on there and then you can't see the blue where that was. Well, actually he's got a bit of blue there, but handily the backpack will cover that. Yeah, it's just got a bit of blue on that shoulder pad there. But also what I'm thinking of doing, let me know what you think in the comments. For the Reavers, I'll hold this one up for you. For the Reavers, I'm thinking of painting one of the shoulder pads black and the other one so I'll keep the one with the trim on his knife side. I'll keep that yellow and I'll paint the trim black, and then this shoulder pad here I'll paint that one completely black, I think. Let me know what you think of that. But then is it going to be too much black on that side because his gun's going to be black as well? Let me know what you think. It might be too much black, but it might not be. They're all Smurfs underneath. They are indeed. Has anybody seen the trailer for It? I'm looking forward to that. I saw Annabelle Creation the other day. That wasn't amazing. It was all right. It was better than what was there was one called just Annabelle. That wasn't very good. That one years ago. Not years. Well, a couple of years ago maybe. And Craig likes that scheme. Fantastic news. I think I'll go ahead and paint these shoulder pads black then, when I'm getting the blacks on these guys. I don't think I'm going to finish these in time tonight, by the way. The WGO Chronicles finishes tonight. And the thing is, Sam said on the live stream the other night, you know, the WGO Chronicles finishes on Sunday. So get your stuff finished by then, and you know, if you could send me, if you could send him pictures of it, if you want them featured on the channel, when they'll either do a video or they'll go over it in a live stream. Send him pictures, and you can do that throughout the week. So I thought, maybe I could just say I've got them finished and then send them pictures. Send them pictures throughout the week. I can, of course, keep them at, say, this stage. Keep them at this stage and just send pictures like that, but it's not much of a display because they're not on bases or anything like that. But yeah, I'm not going to get the bases finished tonight, probably. But what's been really good about this, Warvision Gaming 40k just joined us in the chat. How you doing, mate? Yeah, so what's good about WGO Chronicles and things like that, events like that, is it encourages you to get miniatures painted. It has motivated me more than many other things have recently, to get some paint on some miniatures, and I think I'm almost becoming comfortable with batch painting now. This is a lot simpler than, say, batch painting Deathwatch, because basically I'm base coating them in yellow, I'm putting a few browns on, a few blacks, a few metallics. Whereas Deathwatch, what I was doing was edge highlighting, you know, as much power armor as possible, and I got bored after about 10 Marines. I was like, so I left them to the side for a bit. I will go back to them at some point in the future. Does he need any more silver? I need some on his gun, doesn't he? What's going on in the chat? Horrified when I saw the new trailer. When I was younger, I got scared and hated clowns because of the original movie. My friend Lisa is very similar. She has a phobia of clowns as well. Last year sometime, there was like creepy clowns, people dressing up as creepy clowns in America, and they started doing it over here as well, and my friend Lisa was terrified that she was going to see one. But yeah, people are weird, aren't they? I'll dress up as a creepy clown and follow someone. Nice chat, sir. Thank you very much. It's me, Coolskin. I'm doing fine. And you? I am good, thank you, Coolskin. I thought it would have been you. I was motivated before I got overrun by rats. Glad to see you're doing more painting, Dan. You're going to use Sharpies more to help it go faster. Possibly. I don't... I'll struggle to get Sharpies on these guys because most of the metallics and that, they're... you know what? I could maybe. It will go faster. You got me thinking now, because I could just do the metallics first and then go over the other bits with black. I'm trying to think where they all need metallics. So he's got some on grenades. He's got... You know what? I'm going to run and get my Sharpie, and then we'll try one. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to leave you with another lovely screen. It's the same screen, actually. I don't know why I'm saying another lovely screen, as I left you with before when I ran to the loo. So bear with me, guys. See you soon. I'm back. Sharpie. Let's see how this goes. I've always been reluctant to use a Sharpie on details that are right next to other things, but I've not painted the black on this guy yet, so the Sharpie should work fine because I can paint over the bits that are going to be black with black. Right, what's going on in chat? Stair climbing sound effects, man. I mean, you've got to have sound effects like that to you know, let you know I am going somewhere. It's fantastic. My computer is right under my stairs, so that's where the stair climbing sound effect comes in. Right, well, he's done now. That was so quick with the Sharpie. He's done, but then I've got his sword to do. Watch this now. Let's have a look at his sword. Oh my god, it's amazing. So quick. It's funny, at the start of the stream, I said, I hate painting metallics. And I never even considered getting this out, to be honest, because you know, I'm still doing some small details in that, but for stuff like swords, it's fantastic. Done the back bit. Well, that was quick, wasn't it? Right, it's done. Fantastic. Ow, stabbed myself. I stabbed myself. Next. Them two are done. Let's compare them. So one of these guys' swords has been done with a Sharpie, and the other one has been done with paint. Which is which? There we go. Which is which? I think I can tell from here. One of them's a lot smoother. That's the Sharpie one. Yeah, there we go. Right. Interesting. Let's continue. This is the first time using Sharpies, and no, I've used Sharpies on a night I was doing, and I've stopped doing. I will get back to it eventually. I always start new projects, and as you probably know from previous videos, I start new projects and I don't finish the ones I'm working on when I do that. No, so this isn't the first time using Sharpies, but I've only used them on bigger models before, rather than infantry size models. Oh, hello. He's got an interesting cable going there. Oh, I'm covering this model in Sharpie. Is he glued? Oh, he's glued this one. It's going to be harder to get this Sharpie in here now. Tell you what, I bet he's not glued to the base. Yes! Sharpie time, Sharpie time. Guess what? It is Sharpie time. It's riveting stuff for you, I can tell. Got really itchy upper lip. Oh my god, I've got loads of hair on it. A wash will make it rub off less. I saw that tip the other day on somebody's video, or I think it was a live stream actually. I think you mentioned it on the WGO live stream. Yes, what did I do? Oh, I know what I did. I got the first strike box, which contains the couple of Plague Marines, 3 Plague Marines, and some other stuff. And I've decided I'm not actually going to paint the Plague Marines. I'm just going to colour them in with Sharpies and use the coloured plastic as their colour. Just put a wash over it. So yeah, I did some Sharpie work on infantry miniatures the other day actually. It was them. And then I put a wash straight over it because I remember you said either on one of your videos or on a live stream that the wash... I've missed a bit on this guy, I've just remembered. Because you said the wash will do the work. We'll make it stick. Powerhouse Miniatures joined us in the chat. How you doing, mate? Yes, for Sharpies. They're surprisingly good. They are indeed. I did a Titan recently using them. Great stuff. I've just got a Facebook message. Let's see what it is. I've got a message as well from someone else. Craig sent me a message on Facebook ages ago. It came up on my computer screen and I thought, it's not come up on my phone for some reason. But yeah, it's come up on my phone now finally. 45 minutes into this stream. It was to say I'll be going live shortly. Well, that's what I said to him. So, Powerhouse Miniatures, it's Ian, isn't it? The Titan with the Sharpies, did you just do the trim or did you do anything else? Like, did you use any other colours than the metallics I'd be interested to find out. I imagine you just use metallics for trimming that. I've got a really itchy ear. You get an itchy... Do you ever get an itchy ear? And then to scratch it, like you sort of scratch the roof of your mouth with your tongue. Now, that's probably really weird, but I don't know if anybody else does that or if it's just me. Like, sort of rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth and it helps the itch. It like stops the itch a bit. It's probably just me being really weird. I know the ears, eyes, nose and throat are all connected inside, but I don't think it's as simple as that. I don't think I'm actually scratching the inside of my ear with my tongue. I think Luke from Luke's APS, I think he painted his Ultramarines from the first strike box, or possibly the other one, the No Fear box. I think he painted some of them with mainly just with Sharpies, so we used more than just the gold and silver. That's why I ask. I used gold Sharpie for the trim and all the armour parts. It took the washes surprisingly well. I wasn't sure if it might be some strange interactions with the Sharpie ink and varnishes and shades. Yeah, I was wondering that. I did my Cerastus Knight Castigator. Done the trim on that with Sharpie. I've not actually... Most of it I've not used washes on yet, I don't think. Need to get them washes on because I'll be picking them up, no doubt, and rubbing the Sharpie off. If not... Sharpie Show, Sharpie Show. I'll see if I can get sponsored for a Sharpie Show. One place I can't put the Sharpies is the eye lenses, because I'll just cover the Marine in Sharpie if I did. I had a massive... an earache and my eye is hurting too. Craig had a massive ulcer, have a massive ulcer at the back of his mouth, and earache, and his eye is hurting too. Craig's having a bad day. A bad week, probably. Can I pull his head off? Or is it? No, it's locked on inside. I do need to get to the other side, which I'm going to have to use actual paint for. Actual paint. How novel. Oh no, wait a minute, I might not. I can take his arm off. I don't have to. I don't have to. Well, hey. Yeah, I was looking every time I go past So I was going to the Warhammer store in Stockport. It's a Warhammer store now, not a Games Workshop. It's moved around the corner. I went to the opening a few weeks ago and didn't win a painting competition. Boo. I'm not a very good painter, that's why. I'm satisfied with the work I can do though. But there's a WH Smith just near it, and in the window they have Sharpies, and I'm like, should I buy a whole pack of Sharpies? I do have loads of colours somewhere, I just don't know where they are at the minute. Should I buy a whole pack of Sharpies and just colour in them Death Guard Marines? But I don't think they've got the kind of dirty greens that I'd want, because I'd want to keep it quite close to the way the greens are at the minute. The Death Guard Marines from the first strike box, with the pre-coloured green plastic. What does everybody think? Obviously, people have spoken about this in other live streams and stuff. What does everybody think of Mortarion? Personally, I really like the Mortarion miniature. I much prefer that to the Magnus miniature. I was a little underwhelmed when Magnus came out. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know how they could change it to make me like it a bit more. But I really like the Mortarion miniature. But then someone came out and said it's like the Celestant Prime. I think it's Celestant Prime in AOS, the floaty on the spiral of smoke dude. And it is posed exactly like that, and it made me think, It is a really simple pose, but even though it's a simple pose, he looks big and bloated, and I like the wings. Oh, Callum's crying because of Sharpies. Yeah, I like the wings myself, but a lot of people have an issue with the wings. I like, you know, the maybe people wanted bug wings or dirty feathered wings, tattered feathers maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I know in some artwork in the past we've seen him with feathered wings, I think. But you know, I'm not too hot on chaos fluff. And I don't think has he taken demon form in the Horus Heresy books yet, in any of the Horus Heresy books. I don't think he has, or, you know, heavily demon prince form rather in any of the... Is it demon? They're not demon princes, are they? Are they demon princes? Magnus. Demon prince. They're not demon princes, are they? They're just sponsored by certain chaos gods. That's probably not the right word. I've lost all my words today. Yeah, I really love the model. I think it's awesome, and I don't often like Nurgle models. So I do kind of like the new Death Guard models. But a lot of the problem I have with Nurgle models is I think the grin that you see on a lot of them looks a bit goofy. On some of the new, is it Poxwalkers? On some of them, I think it actually looks, although it's goofy, it kind of fits for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just coming down to the idea of the Nurgle models. But yeah, so what are the Sharpies like over larger areas then, dude? Do you get weird tip marks or anything? On my night, I've not done whole panels or anything like that, but I think did I do it on the carapace bit? I think I did. Let's bear with me. I'll have a check if I've got the carapace over it, but it might not be Sharpie, it might be Retribute Armor. He says, turning away from the mic. No, it is Sharpie, that. So that's Sharpie. We can get it to focus. That'd be lovely. And then you can see the marks. It's not perfect, but tell you what, I'll move my light. I bet that'll help. Oh, it's all tangled up. Bear with me. Right, I'll put my light here. And then we'll put that there. Oh, it's got loads of glare on it. Let's shine it off the wall. No, you're focusing on my nails. Yeah, you can see there's a few little marks on it, but it's pretty smooth. Try again. This is a magical balancing act. Hold it a bit for there. We go. It's focused on it. Yeah, so it's pretty smooth. That's over a decent area. Yeah. There we go. Right, let's get rid of that. Way. Throw it over there. And Ian's saying the Multaria model is chuffing amazing. It is chuffing amazing, in my opinion. Love the model. Really don't like the cartoon paint job. Yeah, they've in the video they released after them images were leaked. It looked like the paint job was a different paint job, so a little bit better. I don't mind that paint job, but it is a bit. I understand what you're saying about being cartoony or comic booky kind of thing. Like in comic books, you get like kind of garish colour schemes sometimes, or colour panels. So for me, whenever I see a paint job like that, I think it looks a bit comic booky. I always used to think the Imperial Fists were too bright, but I've just changed the yellow. So Imperial Fists in heavy metal, they're a bright yellow, almost like the kind of yellow you get on smileys and emojis and stuff like that. But these ones I've painted with I was going to say Towlight Ochre then, but it's not Towlight Ochre. It's an ochre colour, yellow ochre from Vallejo Model Air range. Do these guys want any metallics on them? Apart from the eye lenses. He wants a bit on his gun, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get much done there because I've already done the blacks on him. I'm going to have to do real paint on these guys. Bad times. Bad times. And these guys... I could do the... Oh, I'm going to get it all over the armour if I do that. Alright, let's try. I'm going to try... Oh, no. Because I was doing them black. I'm eating them. I could do this sword. Oh, you know what? I've just remembered as well. I've still not undercoated... undercoated or base coated the banner from the ancient dude. The dude in the middle there. So he's going to have a grey banner if I send Sam pictures tonight. Yeah, that'll be amusing. This is amazing. Love them more really like cartoon paint job. Yeah, they are. Angron ascended into demonhood thanks to Lorgar. Which, no, I won't say which book it is because then somebody will complain that you should have given a spoiler warning. I think I know which book it is. I seem to remember hearing it on a podcast a while ago. I'm not that far yet into the heresy myself. What was the last one I read? I read the first Ultramarines one, where the word bearers do stuff. I read that one, and I really like that one. I was surprised. I kind of like... I liked the Ultramarines a lot more after that, the one with Remus Ventanas in. And I like the Ultramarines a lot more after that, but I've not read any heresy for a while. Whenever I get onto short story books, I should probably just skip them, but whenever I get onto short story books, they really slow me down. I'm on I think it might be Primarchs I'm reading at the minute, and it's one about Iron Hands. You're paying Iron Hands at the minute, fancy that. And for some reason, I really liked the Iron Hands in Fulgrim, but for some reason, at the minute, they were in Fulgrim, weren't they? They featured heavily, I think they did. But at the minute, I'm just struggling to read this short story about Iron Hands, and it's kind of frustrating. It's the first one was Emperor's Children. The first short story, it was Emperor's Children. And then the second one's Iron Hands, I think. And I'm stuck on that at the minute. And I don't know what the next one is, but hopefully the next one will get me a bit more excited about it again, and I can get a bit more reading done. But part of the problem for me is with Horus Heresy and keeping up on Horus Heresy is this. New White Dwarf, right? As much as everybody loves it, right, and they really do, they love it. It's a great hobby magazine now, whereas before it was more of a catalogue. But I like the fact that it was a catalogue. I just looked at the pretty pictures. Oh, look at that. New Space Marines. Oh, new Primaris Marines, whatever. And then I got another one next week, and I did the same with that, and the same with that. I kind of liked the weekly one because it was just a lot easier to get through, and then you chuck it away. Or you don't chuck it. I keep them all because I'm a geek. I'm a hoarder. So the New White Dwarf is really stopping me from reading Horus Heresy. I don't get an awful lot of time to read because most of my hobby time now is spent painting. At the minute anyway, and I've still got loads of unpainted miniatures, so I definitely need to keep going with the painting. Speaking of, I'll get back to that. I'll just read the chat quickly. Oh mate, looking pretty good, so much quicker. If they did fine tip pen, you could easily use them. Craig's also saying you can sharpen them with a hobby knife. I saw that on Clever Girl. I said that the other day. I don't know why, or I said it in my head when. But I know why I know where it's from and everything. But I was thinking about it the other day. Yes, you can sharpen them with a hobby knife. I've seen Craig's pictures on a Facebook page. It was probably Kablam's Facebook page or something. And I've seen them sharpened, and they do look very sharp. Not sure on the book. I'm 6 or 7 books in so far, but read the whole Wikia page for Word Bearers and Lorgar. I read the whole Wiki page for Word Bearers and Lorgar. Yeah, they were a decent sized chunk. Fair play on reading. The audiobooks have been amazing for that. Yes, the audiobooks. I'm put off by the price tag on them, and also by the fact that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'll be painting something and then I'll just start focusing on the painting and I stop listening to the audiobook, and then it'll occur to me that I've not been listening for the past 5 minutes or something like that. I'll be like, oh god, I don't even know what's going on now. That's the thing I kind of like about Critical Role, is that you can go in and come out and you're not massively invested in it, so to speak. Or I'm not anyway. I mean, I'm sure some people are. I was talking to Mickey Gemba and she was saying she really likes it, and she watches it every week. But I what's going on here? No paint came off then. Is that dry now or something? I'm not massively invested into Critical Roles, so I'll have it on in the background happily and not be too fussed if I miss anything. So the way I'm doing the eye lenses on these Imperial Fists is silver, and then I'm going over them with the Waystone Green paint, which is the clear paint from GW when they released 3 clear paints a while back. Spiritstone Red is a red one, and the blue one is Blue Face. I can't remember what the blue one's called. Spiritstone Red, Waystone Green, and Soulstone Blue it is. How long have we been going for now? We've been going for an hour, I think, haven't we? Let's have a lucky duck. Whoa, an hour and 7 minutes. That's ridiculous. Right, I'm going to ask Callum now. Callum, do you want me to keep going with the stream? Because I can do. I'm resigned to the fact that I'm not going to get these painted by tonight. So I can keep going with the stream if you want. But at some point, I'm going to need my evening meal as well. I'm getting a bit peckish, to be honest. But I'm not going to go just yet. I'll get at least another squad done in metallics. Do you have a dog? No, it's my next door neighbour's dogs, and I have thin walls. It's only ever when I'm streaming that. No, it's not only ever when I'm streaming that it happens. But yeah, they just go mental for about 5 minutes, and then they stop for a while. I don't know if it's someone knocking on the door or a phone ringing or something like that. But yeah, you do hear them every now and again. But there's a little yappy one, like like that, and then there's a bigger one, and when the little yappy one starts going, the bigger one normally starts going, and the little yappy one's going, and it's like I think I've learned to ignore it for the most part, but when I'm doing the stream I notice it and it's like, you little devils. It's your call, man. Seems to be good for motivating though, and yeah, you still need your breakfast, man. What time did you get up? Well, you saw my video earlier, so you must have been up for a while now, a good few hours. I've got a beagle and a Jack Russell, and they're so annoying. They go absolutely feral anytime anyone comes to the door. Little devils. I find 9 a.m. You got up at 9 a.m. and you've not had your breakfast. What's wrong with you, man? Breakfast at 4:30. Legend. I find huskies or malamutes. Are they the same, husky and a malamute? So are they the same thing or are they different breeds? I think they're the same thing. I find them really funny when they're sort of talking to you, if you know what I mean, because they're proper like trying to talk to you. Like they put different tones into it and everything. They're so funny. I've got a mate on Snapchat who shares a lot of pictures, videos of her dog, and the dog is like it's 6 years old, but it's like a big puppy, and it's just like really playful, and it's like all the time, like it is properly talking to her. Oh man. My brush is fraying at the end when I'm trying to do eye lenses. Do. What I might do one day is do a Google Hangout chat instead. So somebody can be talking while I'm painting. Like the hobby first, food second. Man, what is wrong with you? It's always food first. Food first, anything else second. Even if there's a fire, it's like escape second, food first if I'm hungry. I mean, you know, obviously not. I can just escape and then go to McDonald's. I was going to say you got to see what I'm painting, but to be honest, I think that'll just really slow me down. I was going to change the angle of the camera to face down at my desk, but I think, yeah, it will just slow me down if I just fix my arms in one position. I prefer to just move them around to whatever's comfortable. I've been resting my arms a lot on the edge of the table recently, so if I do find a nice angle for the camera, I may do that in future streams where you can actually see what I'm painting. Wonder how far. I know you can change the zoom on these cameras. I just remembered Craig telling me something last time I was down at his. I'll have to take the front off. I can change the zoom on the camera and mount it on the ceiling there. Ideas. Yeah, but I don't think it'd get a very good focus. We'd see. Oh, I've got to do his face at some point as well. This is annoying. Ooh. My advice to having guests on stream would be using Skype and XSplit. I've got XSplit, that's what I'm running this stream on now. Skype. I don't know what my Skype password is. I was trying to log into it a while ago and I just can't remember the password. Google Hangouts is as useful as a chocolate teapot. I mean, a chocolate teapot might not be very useful, but they are delicious. So, yeah, we'll see. I think Kim, DiceMiniaturePaintGuy, I think he uses Google Hangouts, and he always has problems, or often has problems, I should say. So Skype may be the way to go, I think. I might speak to my tech guy and see what he says. I think he said use Skype in the past, to be honest. My tech guy being Craig, of course. Kiblams. Why did I get paint on that then? I wanted to paint his face and I've got metallic paint on my brush. What a numpty. I shouldn't really start a new colour. I should just continue to paint what I've got. Lieutenant's helmets. I was trying to think what colour. The reason I just said Lieutenant's helmets randomly there. Everyone's tech guy equals Craig. Yeah, just saying Lieutenant's helmets randomly there. The reason I said that is because I was trying to recall how Lieutenant's helmets were painted. Because Sergeant's helmets. Oh, this is a Sergeant, not a Lieutenant. What a numpty. Live show number 1. I think it's coming. Whose channel is it going to be on? Yeah. Oh, right. When would you like to do it? Was cooking a stir fry? Who cooks a stir fry when I'm streaming? Especially when your computer isn't in your kitchen. I mean, I wouldn't mind if you had a laptop. You could watch me and cook a stir fry at the same time. What was I going to say? What was I saying? Oh yeah, this is a Sergeant's helmet and I'm stupidly putting the metallics on first, but I'm sure I can go in with delicately, carefully, with red at a later date and paint the helmet the red colour. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about Sergeant's helmets being red. I could just not do mine red, but I kind of want to keep them Codex compliant. I watched Handily last night. I watch on my phone. Of course you do. I've seen your shower setup. The stream over food, definitely. What was I saying? Apart from seeing Craig's shower setup. Oh yeah, handily. Tactica Imperialis. I don't know if you subscribe to them, but they do fluff videos every now and again where they talk about they've covered the 18 legions basically, and the 18 legions from Heresy era to modern era to 40k era. Yeah, so the one they were doing last night was the final one, and it happened to be Imperial Fist. So I was listening to a lot of fluff about Imperial Fist last night as I was painting these Imperial Fists. I couldn't think what I was saying. I never think what I'm saying. Yeah, so as I was painting these Imperial Fists, I was listening to fluff about Imperial Fists. The one thing I'd forgotten, I'd heard mention of it in the past, but I'd forgotten, is originally Dawn was opposed to the Codex when Guilliman proposed the Codex, and then he went and meditated in a full-body torture device called the... I was going to say the Iron Cage then, but that's a slightly different thing. I don't know what it's called. The Body Cage? The something cage. The... whatever it's called. He meditated in a full body torture device for like 10 days or something, and then changed his mind. Basically, he punished himself and thought, well, when I can't take any more, I'll come out and say I've changed my mind. I've been listening to a lot of AOS podcasts trying to get enthused for the fluff. Yes, that's one problem I have with AOS is I'm not excited about the fluff. I wasn't into fantasy fluff either. I think if I read like the Godtrek and Felix books, I could get excited about the fantasy fluff. If you're reading good books, because it's not like I'm not into fantasy stuff. I like Lord of the Rings, I like Game of Thrones, so I am into sort of fantasy settings. I watch all sorts of like medieval set films and whatever. It's not like and 40k isn't really science fiction. It's science fantasy, really. It's not science fiction. I don't know what the difference between them two is, if there is a difference, but to me it's science fantasy, not science fiction. But yeah, like I'm into fantasy stuff in general. It's just Warhammer fantasy. I've never been into the fluff of that. What does that say? Oh, the Bodicus Cagulator. I was trying to work out what Craig had written in the chat, and yeah, I couldn't work out what it was. But then I read the first word and the second word sort of together, and then worked out what he was referencing. He was talking about the full body torture device that Rogel Dawn put himself in to make himself approve the compliance, the Codex complicity. Complicity? Is that the word? The Codex complicity of the Imperial Fists. Oh, got an itchy palm. Does that mean somebody owes you money? I'm not sure. I don't know what these crazy old house tales, housewives' tales all are. I just vaguely know little snippets here and there. Right, shall we move on to another set of Marines? I think maybe we shall. Tell you what, I'm just going to do a bit of silver on his chinny chin. Oh, look at that finger. Have I just... No. I thought I'd just weaken the finger joint on this pointy man. Look at him pointing. He's near my thumb there. Yeah, he's pointing. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was annoying today. I think I said it at the start of the stream, but I don't think there was anyone in the chat at the time, so nobody knows. But yeah, I was caught up in work, so that was annoying. I agreed to do the overtime on the basis that I'd probably be finished by about 11 or something. I ended up being there till almost 2 o'clock. Good thing is I've got another full day's pay out of that, just over another full day's pay, because of the rate I get paid on a weekend, on an overtime. What do you think of the new Primaris Marines? I painted up 10 intercessors in Imperial Fist this week. Loads of fun. Yeah, I really like them. I think they look more domineering. Is that the right word? They look bigger. They are much bigger than the Space Marines. So that's what I like about them. However, I don't have my Angron to hand, but they're almost as big as the Angron miniature from Forgeable, which makes me laugh. But also, I do have my... I have... Oh, God. I'm going to have to give that a thorough wash in soap. I have a custard to hand. A custard. Ooh. And it's kind of frustrating that these came out in the... I just built one of these out of interest so I could compare it at the time to intimidating. That's probably a better word than domineering. Dominatrices. Yeah, it's frustrating that these came out in the Burden of Prospero box, and then shortly after they released a new type of Space Marine, because the Custodes are tiny bit bigger than the Primaris Space Marines, which is really frustrating because these are basically true scale Space Marines. Let's face it, basically true scale Space Marines. And then the Custodes should be up there, maybe. You know, not. Well, I've not done that right at all. But yeah, the helmet makes them look bigger, but the eye lenses aren't actually much higher than the Space Marine eye lenses, so they should be probably about there. And then the Primarch should be bigger again, apart from obviously Alfarius and Omegon. The Primaris are mold-line-delicious. They are mold-line-delicious. Well, the ones in the easy to build ones, they are mold-line-delicious, definitely. There's things like excuse me, I'm yawning. There's things like the shoulder pads, and they've got a mold line that comes and then it goes onto. I've sort of scraped it off, but it goes onto the trim, so it just looks like a random weird thing that goes onto the trim, and it's irritating. But you know, I think I'm tempted to buy after these. I'm tempted to buy the First Strike box because I do like the new Death Guard miniatures, like I said. And just for games with the odd friend who doesn't play 40k, I think the First Strike box and the No Fear box is the other one, sorry. I'm tempted to buy the No Fear box. Because the... What am I talking about? Oh yeah, because the miniatures in it are just handy for somebody who has a curiosity about them, and they might want to maybe give 40k a try, and then I could maybe tempt them into it, and I'd have more people to play with. That's my evil laugh. It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, I've seen that. The edge is curved where the sprue meets it. Yes, indeed. It's a real bugger. It's a real bugger. I'm gonna leave it there. Not leave it there, but I'm gonna cut the stream soon, guys, because I need another way. At some point, I need my tea, and yeah. So yeah, I was thinking of buying. What I'll talk about. I'm just going to put my brush down. I'm going to put the lid on the palette, and I better remember to put that in the fridge because it seems to keep better in the fridge. So I was thinking of buying the. Introducing people to the game is part of the reason I'm going for a second Legion. Yes, I think. From my perspective, or in my opinion rather than from my perspective. Well, I guess it is from my perspective. I don't have friends that are into any other games or anything like that, and I don't go to a gaming club. So from my perspective, it's people that have not been into gaming before. So 8th edition is probably better than Horus Heresy to introduce people to the game, to let them try the game. Although you could argue that because of the Horus Heresy books and everything, get them to read a couple of them first, they'll get excited and they'll think, and then you can tell them, oh yeah, there's a game here you can play as well. So that could be a good way to get them to try the game. But 8th edition rules are just a lot simpler, a lot more accessible. I was talking to the Warhammer store manager in Stockport, and he was saying, the great thing about 8th edition is it makes it a lot easier to introduce kids to the game, and the people GW stores target is kids, is to try and get more people into the hobby at the bottom level, get them invested in the miniatures, in the fluff, in everything to do with the Games Workshop hobby. and then, you know, if you can get a few of them hooked, then they'll keep coming back for more. They're playing the long game. Games Workshop. Yeah, you know, that's the great thing about 8th edition for Games Workshop, and for me if I wanted to get anyone else interested in the hobby. I wouldn't expect anybody to buy an army to play against me or anything like that. So something like the First Strike box, which I bought, and the No Fear box, and like I said, paint them just with Sharpies, or mainly with Sharpies and washes and stuff like that. Just so it gets you into the game a little bit more than if they were just green plastic Plague Marines. And then paint up the Space Marines, the Primaris Marines, in that as another load of Imperial Fists to go with these guys. I don't mind the Inceptors having the bolters, because it's Imperial Fists are supposed to have bolters. They prefer bolters. So yeah, that is a good way for me, in my opinion, to expand my Primaris Marine force, although they are Moldlinelicious, but also to introduce anybody who's curious about the game to the game. My nephew got into it a little bit in 7th, but I think if he tried it again now, I think he'd be more likely to stick with it. I'm going to cut the stream there, guys, because I really need a wee now. It's all of a sudden just come upon me. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you on the battlefield. Bye!